Maraming salamat, Aris Jean. Ano ba ang inyong nakikita as teachers, as political analysts? What is happening?
I think sa akin for the first time, it has been presented by these controversies over the DPWH budget, the infrastructure projects, the alleged ghost projects. I think for the first time, people are seeing that this is a systemic problem. Kasi in the past, meron tayong Napoli scam. But then, ito yung parang merong involvement, let's say, alleged ng ibang media personnel, ito, Bureau of Customs, paano na ipasok yung magagarang kotse, ng binayaran ba yung tamang taxes, yung gano'n, ano. Before kasi hindi na, na-highlight na systemic. So, I think this is very important.
I think napuno yung salo. There has always been some tolerance and some almost like parang dahil systemic, parang parati naman magkakaganyan. No? We should not be ideal na this is not happening. It has almost become habituated, normalized. No? But at some point, enough is enough. At some point, we can only tolerate this much level. When it has become too crass, masyadong lantaran, hindi tinatago pinapangalandakan, social media, walang sense of decency. So I think emotional yung latest corruption cycle na to because corruption is not just being exposed to us, it's being rubbed on our faces. And the reaction is less about, well, ganyan din naman noon, but it's more like, bakit parang sobra ng garapal? And people are emotional, angry about it. And therefore, kaya defensive ngayon lahat on how do you manage that or should it be managed, no? Magandang pag-usapan din yon. What is the proper reaction? But I think this is a corruption scandal cycle that, with the exception maybe of the first Aquino administration, all administrations have been inflicted. Peya Amari, di ba? Nung Estrada impeachment, ZTE scandal, PIDA, Parmali, and then this time around. So it has become regular, but at the same time, siguro nga napuno na yung salo. At some point, hindi na kaya, just like yung baha. At some point, dadaloy yung ngit-ngit ng tao.
Pag-usapan natin yung systemic. Patagal na yun Jen.
Yeah. Pero ngayon kasi, dahil mabilis yung information, I believe yung mga Napoli scam, wala pang Android
I wrote there, social media kasi.
no? Wala pang Android phone and people are very visual nowadays. So, ang bilis na yung conspicuous consumption ng supposed families connected with the contractors. So, lalong kaya mabilis na inis yung mga tao.
Galit ang tao ngayon.
Galit. Kasi parang nagkaroon ng muka, nagkaroon ng materiality yung corruption. Kasi alam lang natin, pera. Yung meron ding, I remember kay Napoles, yung parang nilagay sa bathtub yung pera. Pero ngayon, ginagamit, sinusuot, di ba? Sinasakyan. So, na-iskandalo yung mga tao, di ba? So, sabi nga nila, hindi na aspirational yung mga diskaya. Kasi kahit anong gawin ng mga Pilipino, hindi naman sila magkakaroon ng ganong Rolls Royce, di ba? At bibili ka ng Rolls Royce dahil sa payong, di ba? So yun. Tapos yung pagiging systemic, totoo ka, matagal na. Pero ngayon lang yung parang na-connect sa, nung kay Napoles, meron na rin sa anak. Pero ito, mga anak, di ba?
Mga anak, mga pamangkin, mga kamag-anak.
Ang daming pictures.
I think, Tito Boy, nakakonect tayo, tinamaan tayo because when it was exposed, ulan ng ulan, ang daming typhoons, ang daming na-evacuate. So, iniisip ko nga na parang, kung hindi baha season, although it's quite difficult kung ano yung hindi baha season given climate change, no? But all along kasi ang narrative, climate change yan Wala tayong magagawa dyan. Act of God yung mga baha. But when we saw the substandard infrastructure, when we saw yung pag-expose na yung taxes, yung pera na binibigay natin sa gobyerno to protect us from the precarious flooding of raining, yung pala yun yung lulunod sa atin, yun yung that will destroy yung pinagpaguran nating bahay, pinagpaguran nating property. Yung corruption kasi parang mas naging maigting kasi araw-araw mo siyang nadadama yung negative effect, the traffic, the flooding, the evacuation. So hindi lang to na kinuha yung pera ng taong bayan. Hindi, araw-araw kong pinagdudusahan yung epekto nito. And therefore, it adds on to the idea like corruption should be, of course, something na people are angry about. Pero yung naapektuhan na yung pamumuhay mo, yung survival mo is at stake. People have lost lives.
At lahat ng ito visual. Lahat ng ito nakikita. Oo. Real time.
Yes.
Oo. Binaha. Ang dami, no? Pero maraming nagsasabi na buhay ang Diyos. Na para bagang habang pinag-uusapan yung corruption, flood control, biglang lumakas ang ulan. Biglang bumaha. Yung ganon. Isa yon. Tapos yung, kasi ito nga mga nepo babies ngayon, ito mga opulent lifestyles, na-realize din natin, in hindsight, pumutok, tapos, ganun pala yun.
Yeah.
Oo, because sobrang brazen, flagrant yung, di ba, display of the fruits of corruption. Pero ang galit ba ng tao, hindi metrocentric. Parati ko ito sinasabi. Kasi like halimbawa, may mga movements sa Metro Manila. Batang-bata pa ako nung nag-declare ng martial law. Nag-EDSA revolution. Narinig ko yung mga discussions halimbawa sa Kabisayaan, katulad sa amin halimbawa sa Samar, at mga iba pang mga kaibigan galing sa probinsya. Are people in these places as passionate as people in Metro Manila?
May diskurso naman sa atin na Metro Manila should not be the Philippines, right? That Manila is not. And in fact, the part nga nung suporta, for example, sa mga Dutertes is really the idea na, di ba, yung parang there was even a notion of secession, di ba, of Mindanao. So, maigting yung naratibo na yun no? Particularly for them. And historically, no, colonial period, pre-colonial period, may mga ganun ng notions that what is happening in Manila is not necessarily what is happening in the Philippines.
Pero right now, because of social media, palagay mo, Jean, mas apektado ang tao sa labas ng Metro Manila?
I guess so, because yung
diba?
ano rin yung baha, I mean, that's also part of our everyday lives, whether you are in Metro Manila or in other parts of the country. And the way it has been presented, nga yung conspicuous consumption nitong mga nepo babies, ang daling ang daling, ba't ganyan ka, ba't ganito lang ako, maghihirap ako araw-araw, and yet, hindi ako kailanman magkakaroon ng ganyan. So, everybody can relate to that. So,
nung pinag-uusapan, nung pandaraya, pandarambong, pagnanakaw ng pera sa Kabanang Bayan, doon nga sa flood control controversy, umulan. Oo.
Totoo.
Quezon City, sa may Sentries.
Yeah.
Oo. Napakalapit nung pinag-uusapan sa marami sa atin.
That's right.
Punta natin yung systemic. Kasi sabi ko nga, matagal na ito. This is not a new concept. Madalas naririnig natin, uy, kaninong bahay yan? Laki naman. Kontraktor yan. Uy, gusto mo yumaman? Politika ka. Meaning, kung systemic, it has always, parang naging bahagi na ng ating kultura rin na pag ganito.
Yeah.
Oo. Is this a time for purging ideologies or cultural habits?
Tito Boy, kasi kung kunyari merong alien from another planet who would read our laws and our constitution, will have no idea about how it has been implemented. Inassume lang niya, pag binasa niya yung constitution, ito yung sinasabi ng mga estudyante ko, sasabihin niya, napakalinis nitong bansang to. Wala tong corruption. Walang gaps from the code of conduct and ethical standards na batas to a very powerful ombudsman na hindi mo kailangan mag-file ng complaint. The ombudsman can initiate investigations on its own. And this makes our ombudsman one of the most powerful in the world. No? Kasi others, kailangan may magreklamo muna no? To the fact na kailangan mag-declare ng statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth. So in other words, on paper,
Sa papel.
robust yung anti-corruption framework mo eh. Pero tama ka eh. This is not just institutional and legal eh. Cultural eh. In other words, we have made our politics so different from what our legal regulations provide. So na may dalawang mundo ka. May mundo ka na nasa batas na parati mo sinasabi, hindi, may batas naman against dyan. But in reality, papel lang eh.
Bakit napunta doon? Bakit double life tayo in that context?
Tingin ko kasi while we have, sabi nga ni Aris, no, yung while we have our constitution, our laws, talagang laki nating inaano, separation of powers, checks
Yes.
and balances.
Checks and balances.
Pero merong mga points na ang lakas ng discretion ng politicians and bureaucrats doon sa budget na nasisingitan. I mean, yun lang insertion, di ba? So, pag may discretion, tapos ang laki-laki ng perang involved, kumbaga parang wag na tayong magtaka kung bakit nagkakaroon ng corruption. It's really the discretion. Halimbawa, yung BICAM, bakit pinapayagan na walang record, di ba? That has been happening since post-EDSA Congress, no? So, bakit ganon? Ibig sabihin, yung institution, weak.
Yeah.
Di ba? To enforce what is in the law, what is in the Constitution.
Kasi yung systemic din, halimbawa, naririnig natin ito madalas, ako halimbawa, public official. Pag sobra kang honest, ito'y napapag-usapan lamang. Pag hindi ka tumanggap daw ng porsyento mo, iba pupunta sa iba. So, tanggapin mo na lang.
At saka magiging paraya ka
Paraya
sa
ka.
organization
Oo.
pag sistema.
Pakikisama eh.
Oo.
Kailangan kang makisama.
Diba? So,
Kasi ito yung sistema eh.
ito yung kalakaran.
Yeah, ito yung
Ito'y bahagi ng tradisyon ng politika. Tradisyon na hindi malalim. I haven't gone that far, no? But ito'y kalakaran.
Right.
Bakit ka ganun?
Yeah.
Oo.
And kaya siya systemic kasi ang daming may enablers, may taong complicit at lahat sila kumikita. So, ang tatag? Ang tatag nung system na yon, walang nagko-complain kasi nga yun nga, it's either kung hindi ka makisama, wala kang pakisama, add man or add woman out ka dun sa system na yon. Tapos, pag enabler ka, magbe-benefit ka. 'Di ba? Pag complicit ka, magbe-benefit ka. Huwag ka lang magsalita siya, ito sa'yo. Kaya siya systemic kasi hindi ka pwedeng magkaroon ng ganong kalaking perang mananakaw kung nang iisang tao lang.
No, the major players kasi, tama ka, lahat nakikinabang. Pero, I'll take a different tack. While that is happening, linguistics also change, no? Pag sinabi halimbawa ng isang politiko, ay, matino yan, honest yan, not necessarily clean. Kasi, you're able, naalala niyo yung pinag-uusapan yung, you have to be able to manage corruption.
Right.
Paliitan ng nakaw. Kung maliit ang nakaw mo, matino ka.
Yeah, totoo.
Oo. Kaya nga kanina, even off-cam, I was starting to talk about values kasi naging, pag ang ninakaw mo ay 1 billion, ay, magnanakaw ka. Pero kung mga 2 million lang yan, okay.
Right.
Oo nga. Totoo.
Tito Boy, kami nag-focus group discussions kami sa mga pinakamahirap na barangay all over the country. We asked them yung konsepto ng komisyon. Meaning, if there's a project, yung notion na merong porsyento. No? Ito yung mga poorest residents, barangays. And therefore, not many of them are educated. But they understand, they even use the metaphor na, hindi sir nauulingan naman lahat. One. Pangalawa, sir, okay lang yun. Okay lang na may komisyon, basta may project. So, ang hypothetical dito, Tito Boy, kung matino yung flood control project, kung hindi siya bumigay, sisingilin ba natin yung komisyon na yon? Kasi even people admit na parte na to ng sistema eh. May kickback at kickback yan. I think, ang sampal sa atin, yung kickback na dapat maliit na porsyento, ngayon, 30 na lang yung natitira. So, ibig sabihin, the kickback is no longer just a slice. It's the majority, if not more than 70% of the funds are the kickback.
Okay. Sa kabilang dako, may konteksto din. Tama. Kung halimbawa isang flood control project ay nagawa at 80%, no? Halimbawa 100 million, 80 million ang ginastos. 20 million lang ang pinaghati-hatian ng mga sino man ang dapat naghati-hati. Okay 'yon. And that's what I'm trying to say, na parang, talaga, I'm not being a purist.
Right.
No,
That's right.
I'm not being a purist.
Right.
I'm very practical, etc. Pero gusto ko i-challenge yung, talaga, tayo na yun.
Yeah.
Kasi kung yung, halimbawa, the poorest of barangays, naiintindihan nila yung mga, ngayon nga, naririnig ko na ngayon yung ipinapark, nasagasaan, na mga terminolohiya na nangagaling sa Kongreso, merong 25% para kibos,
Yeah.
may 8% para dito, may 12% maliban sa taxes. Aris, mabuti nga kung meron kang 60-70% na natitira sa proyekto.
Yeah.
Yung ghost projects.
Exactly.
Wala
Totally.
Yun.
So,
Yun.
kailangan ba maging ghost project para galit tayo? Kung halimbawa, ang magpapagalit lang sa atin ay ghost project o kaya pag bumagsak ang isang proyekto o hindi natapos ang proyekto, doon lang tayo magagalit. Kasi okay lang kung natapos kasi ang 80% of the 100 million ay ginamit naman. Have we become that?
Yep. Sa akin parang negotiated yun eh. At some point parang
Managed.
may sense na kung walang grease, hindi yan gagalaw eh.
Oo.
The way projects are implemented, kailangan padulasin. Paano mo yung gagawin? You have to get into the motivations of
You know,
Yung-
we know that
parang
it is wrong. Alam nating mali, systemic. Ngayon, napuno na tayo. Pero, what do we do? At saka ako, ang tanong ko muna, ang Pinoy ba, may isang tinapay, nagugutom kasi, nagtira naman, okay na yun.
Ako ayokong tanggapin na tayo yun eh.
Oo.
Kasi pagka ganon, mahirap baguhin. 'Di ba? Parang wala nang kapag-asa. Kaya rin gusto ko tingnan yun as weakness ng mga institutions, no? And in fact, kanila you mentioned language, no? Tapos yung mga padulas, alam mo na systemic at alam mong tanggap sa loob. Dahil nakabuo na sila ng mga sarili nilang lingwahe. Ang bago ngang naririnig ko ngayon sa hearings, ang tawag nila dun sa parang kung ano yung payoffs nila sa mga legislators na allegedly involved, commitment. Commitment, di ba? Dati meron for the boys, tapos dati
yan.
sa customs, pastillas ba yun?
Right.
Oh,
Oo.
right.
From a political analyst's point of view, you know that it is systemic. Didiretso ako, may magagawa pa ba? How do you cure that system?
I think one recommendation, hindi ako engineer o taga DPWH, is yung to break that system. Paano mo i-break yan? Isa doon electoral reforms.
Pero right now,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about immediate.
Makulong. Dapat makulong.
Yeah.
Kung sinong dapat
I also think
makulong.
so. Kasi
The
Yun
big-
din ang-
big
yeah.
fish
Corruption thrives in cultures of impunity eh. And
Corruption thrives in culture of impunity. Ang ibig sabihin ay kung matatakbuhan ng may sala
Right.
na walang kaparusahan ang krimen na kanyang ginawa, mas lalong umuusbong ang pandaraya.
kasi on the one hand we can teach values,
Mm.
moral governance, no? And all of that. But ako naniniwala pa rin na deterrence is very important. Meaning kailangan matakot. Paano matatakot na hindi magnanakaw o hindi kukuha ng mga commitment or kickbacks na may threat ng parusa na sigurado. Hindi yung pagpupush upin lang, hindi yung aarestuin tas pag iba na yung gobyerno, dismiss yung charges. Kailangan may closure eh. And I'm sorry, Tito Boy, we're a country that doesn't really do a good job with closures.
How should we do that closure? Itong nangyayari na ito.
Sa akin, unang-una sa tingin ko, no, importante electoral reform, pero it's high time really for the government to embrace being transparent. Kasi lahat ng to, it's because certain information that is supposed to be available to the public, hindi ginagawang public. So, for example, ang tagal nang natutulog yung Freedom of Information Bill. Nasa Bill of Rights yan. Nasa Constitution natin yan.
Okay.
Ang tagal na. The previous administration made it sa executive pero hindi rin siya fully na-utilize eh.
Pero ngayon, let's name names. The president, I think, did a great job in the context of kauna-unahan to na may presidenteng in my memory na nagsabing mahihiya naman kayo. Ito yung questionabling 15 contractors. I mean, do you remember of any president of the past who actually did this? Palagay ko,
Not in a zona.
okay. Let's go into practical terms. President Marcos is serious.
Seems like it.
let's not talk about politics in general. Ito lang, flood control issue. Seryoso ang presidente. Nag-hearing ang Senado, nag-hearing ang Kongreso, etc. Ngayon, parang pumupunta doon sa diskusyon ng bakit hindi pwedeng imbestigahan si Zaldico, APRO head ng Kongreso, who's being named very often right now. Martin Romualdez, who's the Speaker of the House, is the first cousin of the President. Given these names, especially napaka-relational, again, bumabalik tayo doon sa kultura, may mangyayari ba dito?
At surface level kasi ang daming red flags in the sense na conflicts of interest all around no? Kaya yung notion, I think...
Because this will give us an idea of how this is going to end.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. Kaya nga maraming skeptical, Tito Boy. No? Hanggang ngayon, yung mga investigations na yan, the reputations of people who are investigating, the one who are insisting, hindi sila nanggagaling sa isang reputasyon ng integridad. No? I mean,
because we are right in the middle of the dance. Pero, ako I see the wisdom of the President na hindi naman yun maglalabas ng listahan kung hindi niya alam kung hanggang saan yung involvement. Okay? Kasi hinihingi na ngayon. Like, I love this discussion na sinasabing, can we actually investigate one of us? Can we invite, Congresswoman Jean Fernando from the University of the Philippines, as a resource person? Can we actually do it? Oo. Kasi ang dami ngayong magandang nangyayari, mga katanungan, ang optics, political optics, nakikita natin. International observers are watching very, very intently. Ang dami ngayon. Pero skepticism is there, but meron ding hope. May pag-asa din.
I think sa akin, the more that this is less managed in the sense na parang hindi siya walking on eggshells na, wag natin may pinagtatakpan, the more that it becomes credible. Ako,
dito lang tayo magtatapos. Kasi ito'y una pa lamang. Kailangan tuloy-tuloy ating pag-uusap dahil marami ang nangyayari bawat araw. Ano ang inyong pinaka-importanteng mensahe sa ating mga mamamayan, lalo na sa inyong mga estudyante, lalo na sa mga kabataan who are engaged, who are invested, who are involved? What is your most important message at this point?
I always tell people na iba tong henerasyon na to, Tito Boy. It seems like, and we've seen perhaps on how the election results in May 2025 turned out. No? So there seems to be, although hindi pa natin ako ebidensya na merong itong henerasyon na to has the ability to really impose its political convictions. No? Ang gusto ko lang sabihin sa mga Pilipino, lalo na sa mga kabataan, is kaya niyong gawin yung mga hindi naming nagawa na nakaraang henerasyon. Maybe, sorry hindi namin maibibigay yung lipunan na mas mabuti sa inyo. It seems like we have failed. Pero sana gamitin niyo yung failure namin to be inspired, not to be disheartened, na may magagawa pa.
Mahirap mahalin ng Pilipinas, no? Mahirap mahalin. And naiintindihan ko yun. Pero sana wag magsawa, no? Yung kabataan. Marami silang tools ngayon na wala nung panahon ko, no? Let this generation take this challenge, no? Given the tools that you have now.
You're basically referring to, social media, the internet.
Yes, exactly.
Napaka-powerful yan. Pwedeng magamit ngayon yan.
Pwedeng magamit sa mabuti, pwedeng magamit sa pagbabago. At nangyari na rin yan sa, sa mga ibang bansa. Pero sana, wag magsawa.
Okay.
Na mahalin ng Pilipino, huwag mapagod.
At huwag sumuko. Ang akin lang, agree ako doon sa Truth Commission. Agree ako doon at this point, habang ginagawa lahat ang investigations, dahil kailangan merong independent commission, halimbawa, kahit papano. Pangalawa, naniniwala rin ako doon sa kabataan. Pero meron din kaming pag-aaral, Aris. Agree ako na engaged, may boses, aktibo yung mga kabataan. Pero we're now in the middle of study, of research. Hindi namin ma-quantify yung partisipasyon ng millennials and Gen Z in the last elections. Right. Kasi may mga katanungan yun na ano ba talaga? Was it a Duterte vote? Was it a Marcos vote? Right. kung merong millennial and Gen Z vote, bakit straight ang Duterte sa Mindanao?
Tama.
Is it to demean? Is it to denigrate the participation of the Gen Zs and the millennials in those areas?
Right.
May mga katanungan, halimbawa, that in Luzon and the Visayas, bakit nagsama sa isang balota, maraming balota, si Senator Bongo at saka si Bam Aquino at saka Sir Kiko Bato de la Rosa? These are very, very important questions that we have to answer in the context of the participation of the Gen Z and the millennials. Pero sige lang, I see the wisdom of huwag mapagod. My most important point is, in many revolutions, kadalasan may lumalabas na bayani. We're in search of a hero. Pero, ang gusto kong ipaalala sa mga kabataan, minsan, there have been movements na ang bayani ay ang henerasyon.
Yeah.
May mga revolusyon na ang mga bayani ay yung komunidad, yung movement. Kasi baka may iba na naghahanap ng kailangan meron tayong isang pangalan.
Figure.
May isang figure. Hindi.
Yeah.
It can be you. It can be the young people of this country. And collectively, that may just be the hero that we're looking for. To be continued. Maraming salamat, Jean. maraming salamat, Alice.
Maraming
Mabuhay
salamat.
kayong dalawa.
Thank you.
Hi, people of the Philippines and people of the world. Hit the button below and you will be subscribing to the Boy Abunda Talk channel on YouTube. Let's keep talking. Kaibigan, tuloy ang usap.